trying to keep I down. I will always prosper.
12 minutes before 8 o'clock, and in studios with us, we've been joined by Mr. Arthur Saldiva. Um, his name has been bandied about quite a bit. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to refer to him as an attorney, as a
Well,
political
let's ask him.
aspirant.
Let's ask him to tell
You
us
know,
about Arthur Saldivar.
morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good
Good to
morning,
have you.
Mr.
Good to have you. Welcome to our
It's a
studios.
pleasure to be here.
Tell us about Arthur Saldivar. Who is Arthur Saldivar?
Well, Ernesto, I am a Belizean first and foremost. I love my country. I was educated here in Belize City at the Anglican Cathedral College. I'm also an alumni of the St. John's College Sixth Form, where I was the president of the Student Council in '93. I subsequently went on to studies abroad as a Fulbright scholar, earning my degrees in economics and diplomacy. In 1998, I returned, and in 2000, I was the project manager for Maxborough Community, which is in Sand Hill Village. Subsequent to that, I left the country once more to pursue legal training in Guyana, and then subsequently the Norman Mann Law School. And I returned again to Belize, my native land, to contribute to its development.
Well, we must say we're proud of you for doing that. So, can we call you a prominent lawyer?
Well,
We tend to qualify lawyers.
some people say I'm a 2 cents lawyer. So, so let's not put these labels. I'm an attorney.
And also, you're an aspiring politician.
Yes, I am.
All right.
What? Because when you listen
yeah.
to the way the public refers to politicians, why would you want to be involved? What are some of the things that drove you to want to be a politician?
Well, first, the condition of my people, condition of this country. In 1998, when I was leaving university in the States, I was offered the opportunity to become a permanent resident of the United States. And at that banquet that was arranged for Fulbright scholars, I was asked if I was grateful for the opportunity afforded me to study there. My response was simply this, that whatever was given to me or afforded me was pale in comparison to what has been taken away from us here in Belize. Having the experience I've had with a grandfather who has been a farmer up until the time he had died, and a mother who worked in public service, a father worked in public service for all their lives, I got an appreciation for our people and what we have here in Belize. I think that if more people have an appreciation of what we have in Belize, we would have more people getting involved and wanting to develop the country. So I don't see politics as a bad thing. It's a vehicle for development, and that's what we ought to be doing.
Arthur, you said what was taken away from you. What you brought up a good point, and on this show we do a lot of that. Sometimes they say we're a little bit too cynical or sarcastic, but I agree with you 100%. We have lost a lot of good things in this country. What have we lost? What has been taken away from us?
Well, in terms of the way our economy has been structured over the decades, from the colonial system on to what we have now, which is not much different than what we inherited. It's about exploitation of natural resources without putting in place anything to add value to it. We have been trapped in a situation where we are in perfect competition with everybody else in the world who produce what we produce. Whether we were in the logwood trade, the mahogany trade, the sugar business, banana, citrus, it was all about the raw material. Now, with all these industries, and I hate to call them industries because there's no secondary processing of the good that is produced and exported. It's simply on a supply and demand basis. If the demand is high outside for it,
Okay.
then we are in the business of pushing that product out there. When the demand goes down, we suffer. So I've seen that and recognize that in traveling across Central America, because I've had that opportunity also, these countries are basically doing more to diversify their economies, doing import substitution more so than Belize has been doing. They are looking to first cater to the production within their own borders to satisfy their own domestic needs, to ensure that they have what is necessary, and then also to develop the capacity to compete internationally. We have not been doing that.
But is it something we did to ourselves on purpose?
I don't think so. We've been lulled into this
Well,
sense of
we have never been taught to consider ourselves as Central Americans. We've always had a distaste for being associated with Central America.
well, we're both
We've always been taught to be Caribbean. We're Caribbean. We've never wanted to be Central Americans.
well, again, I guess from a unique background, I have always appreciated both the Caribbean aspect and the Central American aspect, being that my family straddles both sides of that divide. But what I would say is that Belize is neither Central American nor Caribbean. We're a hybrid. We're unique. We offer to this region something that no other country can offer. And with that, we should develop it. Because if we do,
Couldn't agree with you
we'd
more.
become the vanguard. We'd be leading the pack. It's just a matter of will.
But is there a leadership will to want to do this?
I believe that right now, we are developing that capacity and we're bringing forward that kind of push,
We are?
focus.
We are. Where do you see evidence of this?
I see evidence of it within the party that I belong to. I know that that may seem to many as something, just a statement that is being made. But in the leadership of the People's United Party, I do believe that there is a recognition that we have not done enough. We have basically brought forward political independence, and that had been the hallmark of our existence. Now we seek to bring about economic independence, and I believe that we are the only ones poised.
Is
do it.
this a radical change? Because if we read our history and we read, I think I've lived in this country probably longer than you, and what I've been reading and getting the feel of living in Belize is that actually the PUP in the past was criticized of trying to be more Latino than Caribbean, and that has always been part of our objection. And I think you can disagree with that. Mr. Price has been accused of that. He has, he was accused once of trying to be more Latino than Caribbean, and that seemed to drive us away and say, no, we don't want to be Central American. So is this a change now within the party, or the
Not at all.
thinking?
Not at all. Again, accusations are made
But
as
I
a matter of
really,
convenience.
up to recently, I can still find newspapers where this is still brought up. It's still
Certainly.
said, you have the heads of agreement, you have all these agreements came up in the past, and the reason for that is, of course, because of our problem with Guatemala.
Precisely. What has occurred over the years is that the Guatemala claim had been predominantly the focus of our national security efforts. And as a result of that, and given our situation of defenselessness, we have had to use diplomacy in many respects to make up for what we lack militarily. Suffice it to say that at those times, it's been the PUP that has had the political leadership in the country, and the efforts made by international countries in the international community to broker and engender the peace that they require resulted in certain things being proposed that were not totally in the best interest of Belize and Belizeans. And I think when that occurred, Belizeans showed that their displeasure. They exhibited their displeasure with it. But it certainly was not anything indicative of any sinister motive on the part of the People's United Party or on the part of Mr. Price in any way. I would not be one to adhere to that. I don't adhere to the whole myth of PUP move to Latinize Belize. We are what we are. We are a landlocked country. We're not an island. And we are locked to Central American
That's
countries.
Right. That's right.
So there are certain
It's
natural...
a reality we can't avoid. Right?
Precisely. So there are certain things that would occur naturally. Now, to say now that we have not done enough to maintain and safeguard our own cultural identity, then yes, I can say all Belizeans must share responsibility for that.
Just to clarify the political aspect here, you are planning to run for the Belize Rural North? Am I correct?
Yes, you are
Yeah.
correct.
And will a convention be held? We keep hearing differing
Yes, there'll be a convention.
convention
There'll
be
be a
held
convention in Belize Rural North.
against Mr. Wade.
I am not at this time
Don't
privy
know who your opponent is.
to what the inner workings are as to what is
Okay.
going to happen there, but I am aware so far that I am uh, to have a convention. We are to have a convention in that division. Yes.
Okay.
Well, based on what the committee said, it will be an endorsement convention as opposed to one where you're
Elected convention.
being challenged. But you talk about um, your involvement, your interest in the development of Belize. Looking at it, you, with your economic background, where do you see we're going wrong? What are some things that you think that we should be doing differently?
Well, first and foremost, we should be looking at the country comprehensively as a whole, as opposed to looking at particular areas one at a time and trying to patch, as opposed to prepare and plan. And I think that's the biggest failing. There is no national comprehensive plan for development of the country. If we have that and we can work towards that, setting certain benchmarks that can be easily recognized, then it would be a situation where each individual within the country could appreciate the direction that the country is heading in and could actually understand what sacrifices need to be made to get there and accept those sacrifices.
There is a, well, I haven't heard of it for a while, but I know there's a, if it's still going on or it hasn't finished yet, about, have you heard of Horizons 2030? Is it 2030, right? Horizons 2030, where the present government has set up a committee, organized body to study where we should go. This country, so we have a plan, because this is the only problem we had. We got independence, and somehow we never had a vision of what we wanted in the next
After
25,
independence,
30 years
yep.
after independence. It was haphazard ever since. Now this is a plan going on. Is this, do you know, are you aware of this?
I've heard of it. What impact it has or what it's, I have no idea. I mean, like many things with the government, it's shrouded under some sense of secrecy to,
We,
to a
we
great
tend
extent.
to have that problem. We don't seem to get together and plan together. You know,
Yes.
you see this changing. If you have anything to do with it, you
Well, this is the
change
reason
that?
why I'm here. I'm here as an agent of change.
All right. Okay. You presented me with a. Do we take a break first?
Yeah,
Okay. Let's take a break and we'll come back.
it's now 7 minutes after 8 o'clock. This is the morning show on Love FM on a Wednesday morning. And this morning we have the pleasure of chatting with Mr. Arthur Saldiva. And before the break, Ernesto, you were talking about a plan.
Well, a plan, yes, because well, Mr. Arthur Saldiva is an attorney and also he's degreed in economics and diplomacy, and an aspiring politician who should be probably be the next PUP representative for the Belize Rural North. We are talking about Belize, and you said we need to change things, and basically we need to create new wealth in this country. The Prime Minister was here, and he, you know, and if you listen to his message and basically his State of the Nation, we have a couple $100 million to spend. And when he was chatting with us here, my point was, this is our money that's been lent to us, and we have to pay it back eventually. So we have to have a plan how we're going to pay this back.